Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
We're in the net.
We're in the net.
We're in Sandra Bullock's The Net.
Yeah, great movie.
Isn't there somebody famous who keeps retweeting about how they love the net, and I can't remember who it was.
It was Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
There was a few, and they were all like these weird '90s thrillers that he was obsessed with.
I mean,
and that's perfect.
That checks out.
Yeah. I also love The Net.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch that in college in like a internet, like learning about the internet class, which of course that ages me so much. But they played that movie in it, like these are the dangers of the internet, and you're just like, all right.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
That they were like, I guess let's show them The Net, the documentary The Net.
Yeah,
on
it was like
how
class.
the internet is.
It was just like what? Like it was one of those classes where we learned like basic HTML and like how to add frames to websites and stuff like that. And it was essentially at the time, if you had like a MySpace page, you already knew how to do all of these things. But
I love
it was
that.
Very basic.
What's funny to me is that you and I are the same age, so I know what years you were in college roughly, and The Net was already way dated by then.
Oh yeah. Super dated. Didn't make any sense.
Oh shit!
I love that era of internet movies where like she orders a pizza online and they're like, whoa, check it out.
It's the future. Or like Hackers.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hackers. Oh man, I love that movie. That's my favorite.
I love
like,
both
90s
films.
Tech.
They're all great films.
Yeah, they're all
Whenever
fantastic
they talk
films.
about the modem speed and Hackers, I just like chuckle. It's my favorite
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's delightful.
Oh yeah.
Or Copycat, where she does internet chess and Copycat, and she's on the chat rooms.
Oh man.
These are all great films. Is this
I guess
it?
I better.
Is this
Yeah,
the
that's it.
podcast?
That's the episode. We're just going to talk about those movies. We're going to talk about Hackers, The Net, and Copycat, which I think all came out in the same year.
Triple feature.
That does sound like a good movie night.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Selection.
think that's our movie night.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens later tonight when this airs. Actually,
Right.
okay. Let's get started. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast.
Woo.
Okay.
Oh, the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I am your other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm guest Starline Hodge.
Hi, Star.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Good.
Cool.
Good to know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we got some producers.
I
Sorry.
was
You're gonna like
make
chit chat.
polite chit chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Do it. Do the late night thing. Do the late night.
I was
host
gonna
thing.
ask how you been, Star. What you been up to in this pandemic? People want to know.
That's true.
I've literally just been home. I stay inside. I maybe walk around the block for some like sun.
I mean,
And
that's
then I come back home. That's it.
that's very good news. If you're like, oh, I've been all over the place. It's popped over in Vegas. Just went to all the restaurants.
I
Been
did
touching
look up.
stuff.
I looked up plane tickets just to kind of see if I was like if I were to take that risk. It's like $30 to go to Miami right now if I really wanted to.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was like a deal on Spirit. It was just like, and I was just like, shit. No, let's not. Let's not die.
God
no.
damn it! Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I wish like. No, I was gonna say I wish I knew if I was like super immune, like if there were super immune people and we could just run the world, but we would just be spreading that and killing other people. So
yeah. There's no like good way to take advantage of the deals.
And maybe if you had a hazmat suit, you could do whatever you want.
Or you could just be like that like guy in the beginning of The Stand who just drives cross country with his family while Don't Fear the Reaper is playing.
Yeah.
Just fuck it, I'm getting everyone sick.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Yeah, you could just have no regard for human life. That would work too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, sorry, folks. Don't look up plane tickets. You'll just feel sad.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we could now do producers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We're warmed up.
Yeah.
We feel good.
Yeah. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling extremely chatty.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have producers on this podcast, and I would like to thank some of them, including Pete Vorpagel. Thank you, Pete. Thank you to Glitterous. Thanks for having Jason Pargin on. Here's $25. You're welcome.
You're extremely welcome.
Yeah, you'll be happy to know that Jason Pargin will be returning soon.
Nice.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight? Great one. Thank you to Exploding Runes. You're wonderful. I was imagining like okay, I know it's a D&D reference, but are they like just like rune stones just exploding like grenades?
I think it's a spell, and yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm picturing it correctly.
Yeah.
All right.
Or it's like a rune that you like draw and then that blows up, sort of like a trap.
Sure.
Oh, I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. I'll take over. Thanks to Andrew, quote Andrew How.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you to Asking Seven. Thank you to Vincent with a Y. Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Star, do you want to grab the last three?
Sure. Thanks to Dracula the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
I would take that ride.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to John Munoz. I hope I'm saying that right.
I think that's yeah.
And thank you to Captain Toenail.
Thank you. Thanks to
props.
all.
We appreciate your service, Captain Toenail.
We salute you.
Yeah.
A very solemn salute to Captain Toenail.
Very respectful. Very respectful.
Yeah, Captain William Toenail of the Toenail family. Let's discuss some trailers. You guys want to discuss some trailers?
Oh man, I can't wait.
It's an interesting week. I think the most biggest trailer is Project Power, which sounded like a reality TV show.
Yes, yeah, that's what I thought it was at first when I saw the title.
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
The title's not very good.
No, I would argue the title's bad. But it looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's about a pill that makes you an X-Men, right? It like unlocks a power and you don't know what the power is.
Mm-hmm. And you get to
only
be
for 5
minutes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and they're, I don't know, one of them's a cop and they're like I don't know how this like people are like it's like a street drug, which I don't know how that happened. Like what?
Isn't that what the movie's about? Like that like someone's illegally like selling these pills to
right.
And like they turned it into a street drug when it was probably like used for military or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that would happen though? Like
I mean, if there's money to be made, I don't see why not.
I guess anything can be leaked.
I would buy that fucking drug, Dave.
I think I would too.
No, don't get me wrong. Me too. I'm just talking about the idea that like the military could make a pill like that and it would somehow end up on the streets. Like that's a big fuck up, right?
Yes.
Or somebody within the military is like, well, I'm going to start selling these.
Right. But that's like, but that they would like if people started selling like if people started selling tanks on the street, I feel like it would be a big fuck up, and we'd figure out how it's happening. Right.
I think if the key would be how difficult is this formula?
Because
if you could make this formula like by just buying some pharmaceuticals at your like CVS or whatever,
That's
then
true.
someone's just gonna make it if our bodies are just inclined to have superpowers. But if you do need like a whole ass lab, then obviously something suspicious is going on.
Right. What do you guys think are the odds of this movie talking about how we only use 10% of our brain?
Oh, that's almost a guarantee.
Okay.
75%.
Yeah, you think they're gonna they're gonna pull that bullshit?
Probably. I mean, Limitless did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Limitless with superpowers.
Yeah, pretty much. It's I don't know, it looks fun. It's from the directors of Paranormal Activity 3 and 4.
The best ones.
Yeah, but it does look fun.
I imagine just like if this was real, everybody would have to like you'd get the pill and just be like, well, I guess I got to go out into the desert to take this because you don't know what power you have.
Nope.
And like
I'm
the trailer,
I'm going straight to the playground.
yeah. And then the trailer showed like somebody just lit on fire, like you could. So I'm just like, oh no, you can't take that at home if you don't know what you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go to someone else's house before I took it.
I wonder if there's some.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I wonder if like there's just like a couple unlucky people where their superpower is just feeling faint. So like everybody's like powerful and have flames, and then there's a couple people who are just like, yeah, it just makes me feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
That
like
would
you-
suck.
One of the side effects is just terrible diarrhea. So like everybody else has these awesome like rock skin
You get
powers.
like jetpack diarrhea.
Yeah, it's the power of diarrhea. So
Oh,
like you
man.
can use it. Like you ever see those water jetpacks that people have?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
you
Yes.
can
that's
you can
exactly
use
what
it
I
like
was
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like you don't you're not like Iron Man. It's just like those water jetpacks where you can lift off the ground for like 10 feet.
Oh right,
And, like-
it's also very similar to them because you would need to constantly hydrate.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You need
yeah,
a
yeah.
hose running straight into
At
your
the
mouth.
end of your 5 minutes, you're just completely dehydrated.
You're just a
Yeah.
husk.
Yeah.
No.
It's like in The Mummy where he steals the people's souls and they shrivel up.
Yeah, any type of power where like you don't physically change would also suck too, because you'd have to spend 5 minutes like,
Yeah, trying to figure out what it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, am I invincible? No, you stab yourself.
Right.
Oh no. Okay, not it. Like you're just sitting there like trying to, like
That's yeah. That's in the trailer because that's clearly like JJL's powers that he's invulnerable.
Right.
But like, man, how did you figure that out?
Right, because you wouldn't want to dive right into it, you know.
No.
Like, what if it's just your bones are really strong? You wouldn't be able to know that unless
Right.
you tried to break your bones. Mm-hmm. Or like, what if you were like a really good hacker all of a sudden, and it would take a very long time to figure this shit out. Like if it's in like a specific context. If you like become a really good dancer suddenly, and it's like, well, dancing is like it's like number 50 on my list of things to try. So it's gonna take a while. You need a lot of pills because I feel like some people they wouldn't figure it out in 5 minutes.
Right. Some superpowers are extremely situational, and you only have a 5-minute window to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah,
oh
it's
my
very
God.
inconvenient.
None of this sounds good, but like, in like practical terms for a movie, yeah, sure. But I kind of want the version of this movie that's takes it way more serious, and you're just like, how does like some random teenager figure this out?
Right. That was like I wanted to do. This is a little similar. It's not that similar, but I wanted to do a movie about a guy where someone comes back from the future to try to kill him, and like a bunch of people keep, but like no one's specifying why. So like all they know is just that this is a real problem, but it's just really inconvenient. Like I feel like that's what it would be, right? If everybody had superpowers, it would just be this clusterfuck, and you'd never really know. You never know what to do. Like, it's not worth it.
No,
it's not worth it. Is my point.
And I like the idea that everyone 100% you have a power. You just don't know what it is.
Like, the majority of sci-fi tropes would just be awkward and confusing, for the most part, and not worth it.
I'm still thinking of the diarrhea jetpack.
Yeah, you get a diarrhea jetpack, and like the first time it'd be like Mulch Diggums and Artemis Fowl. Like the first time you'd learn, your pants would explode, or it'd like, if it's not powerful enough to explode pants, it would like fire up your pants and down your pant leg.
Yeah,
it'd be like putting your thumb on a hose.
Yeah, it would just shred your pant leg, so it looks like those like
your friends, and they're like, well, maybe you could control the poo. Try to control the poo.
Yeah, like try to catch it. Like, maybe I'm like Pyro and I can control shit.
Also,
no, it just gets everywhere.
Yeah. Also, you might not like. I assume if it's explosive diarrhea, you probably don't have a choice. But what if it's something you have to switch on, and it's like you'd never think to try to push out your ass.
No.
That's like, I would never. Even if it occurred to me to try that, I wouldn't, because I'd be like, well, I don't want whatever result that would be. Like, even if it was a superpower, it's a superpower I would like to return.
Right, it's a superpower I'd prefer not to have.
Yeah,
right.
Unless you're shitting like diamonds.
There's got to be like a group of scientists who've like researched the average powers, where they're like, okay, here's a checklist. Try this, 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 and this, and this. All right. You don't have those? Try this second set. And then it's just like the last set of like, all right, well.
I don't know, butt stuff? Try some butt stuff.
Some butt stuff. It's like the last column on their sheet.
Yeah.
All right, well, you made it to the butt stuff, so things are going to get pretty weird.
Unless it worked the opposite way, where it turned out that most of our superpowers were
butt related. Yeah.
And we would like have to redesign clothing, and like, our whole society would change based on around our butts. Mm-hmm. They'd be a lot less taboo. We'd have like butt like decorations that we would sell.
Oh yeah, you can
spicing up.
Trick out your butt.
Yeah, spice up your anus with new like they'd be like cell phone covers. There'd be a whole industry suddenly with mall kiosks selling butt covers. Mm-hmm. It'd be great.
Oh man. Oh
yeah, you'd have pants with the little buttons in the back again.
Right, you'd have tons of butt flaps. Yeah, so I guess that's this movie.
That's
hopefully.
Project Power.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
Who could say?
I don't know. I missed that, actually.
The directors are also doing an upcoming Mega Man movie, which is that? Do you suppose that's going to be live action?
I would hope that's a cartoon.
Yeah.
See, I miss the days where we can take something like Super Mario Brothers or Street Fighter, things that should be cartoons, and just make them live action. Like, I want a live action Mega Man. They
keep trying to do that with anime, and they keep failing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they don't understand that the animation cheats in anime are what like makes it hyper stylized, and that's what makes it kind of look cool and unique. Right. And then they try to translate it to like live action. Either they ignore that completely and it loses the whole like magic of what the show was, or they try to do it and it doesn't always work because it's like there's a reason why it looks like that. So I always want it, but I've seen fan videos who figured out how to do live action anime way better than like most professionals.
Definitely certain comics and animations lose their charm when translated to live action.
Yes.
Even if they try. Mm-hmm. Like Frank Miller has, it's been, some success, some failure. Like, I just think I don't know what to do with it. All I know is I want a live action Mega Man movie. I want to see fucking John Cena with like a fan on his chest. And he's like the airman or whatever.
He's airman, yeah, sure.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Like, seriously, who are we trying to please with a Mega Man movie? Let's just make it a nightmare. Like, sure. That's better. That's better than mediocre.
It's true.
Yeah.
Next trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. Away.
Yeah.
With Hilary Swank.
This is just a 40.
Right?
Huh?
It was a teaser, right?
Yeah, it's just a 40-second teaser of an upcoming Netflix series where Hilary Swank is in space.
Hilary Space.
Yep.
She's spacing. She's going to Mars. Yeah, I mean, based on this teaser, I'm just like, yeah, I'll watch this.
Yeah, I normally don't watch space movies because it's always about how something wrong happens. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I want nice things in
stress.
space.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be like closer to like The Martian, but well, it can't be that, right? Because you can't make a series that's just. Is this a series? It's a series,
it is a series,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, something has to happen, right?
Yes.
It can't just be Hilary Swank hanging out on Mars, just like playing on her phone.
Well, it's like the 3-year trip to get to Mars. So maybe it's like year 1, everything's fine. We're like getting along. Year 2, man, I really can't stand these people. And then year 3 is like murder.
Yeah, year 3, people are food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun, I think. I think we're going to get we were talking about the net earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think if we're lucky, if society doesn't collapse and if we somehow advance as a society, I think shows like this and movies like The Martian are going to be seen the way Hackers is seen, where it's like, this is how we imagined it, this like not too distant future, and it's going to be way different.
That's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is there's this weird thing where like, yeah, it is unavoidable and specific to movies that are predicting a very short amount of time from now, as opposed to like Demolition Man, where it's like we don't talk about that movie about its inaccuracies because that movie is batshit, or like Star Trek, where it's like, it's such a big swing that it's like we don't hold them accountable.
Right. According to Star Trek, we were supposed to have had a eugenics war in 1999.
I know. Where's our eugenics war?
I don't know. That might still be coming up.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
They may have just got the date wrong.
That might be off by just a few years, but man.
Yeah. They did predict the iPad, so maybe also we'll be like, that Star Trek, yeah, they knew they were ahead of their time with the iPad and the eugenics war. Mm-hmm. Those were the two things.
And
everything else outlandish.
Star Trek is also the teleporters that like you actually die and then reform, right?
That's a theory.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was canon. I was just like, oh my god, what a heady thing to
What is
like,
canon
have.
is there's teleporter demons in one episode with Barclay. Lieutenant Barclay is scared of teleporters, and then he starts seeing demons in the teleporters, and they turn out to be these microscopic creatures that are like stuck in this. It doesn't matter. It's a good episode, though.
What? No.
Yeah, they do some teleporter shit.
No, they do some fucked up teleporter shit.
Yeah.
Like they kill the evil spirit the evil alien spirit that was Jack the Ripper. They kill it with a teleporter by teleporting out into space in like 1,000 different locations.
So good.
What?
Good. Yeah.
There's also the TNG episode Rascals. There's a teleporter accident that makes Picard, Guinan, and Ensign Rowe, I think are those 3, turn into children. And they become children and they can't reverse it. Mm-hmm. And then a bunch of, I believe, Ferengis take over the ship, and they have to use their like unassuming kid looks to reclaim the ship. As
that
children.
Sounds fantastic because they unintentionally made an anti-aging machine.
Yeah, they never address it again. Never happens again.
Because they keep their memories, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you stay a child? I would have been like, wait, I have my brain and I could start over. Oh, I'm staying. I will regrow. It'll be
one
cool.
One of them does say that. Whoopi Goldberg's character Guinan is like really into it. Ensign Rowe had like a really traumatic past, so she doesn't like being a kid. Picard is the best, played by a really good kid who's like trying to keep his dignity, and he's just too cute.
Oh,
yeah, it's great. Everybody is like treating them like kids accidentally, and they have to like remind people that they're adults in children bodies. Oh, and I'm sorry, we're gonna keep talking about this. I'm embarrassed. Chief O'Brien's wife also turns into a child. What's her name? I'm sorry, everybody. I forget Chief O'Brien's wife's name.
Well, I mean, Dave, you're fired. This is the end of the partnership.
That's the weirdest one because she's like still trying to act like his wife, and he's just like, no.
Well, that's good on him. That's good on his part.
No, good on Chief O'Brien.
Good for Miles.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real baseline praise we're talking about, but like, yes, he's like, nope, that's too weird.
I mean, it is a nightmare dilemma.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have to both of you have to like become kids, or like it's just like, well, I guess we're getting divorced now.
She also has a kid at that point. She had a kid in 10 Forward a while ago before this, but God, who delivered that baby? Doesn't matter. And so the kid like doesn't recognize her mom anymore, and it's kind of sad. So that's Away. The trailer for Away.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts for Away?
No, there's a Mushishi episode that's a lot like what you're just describing, Dave. On TNG.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, we talked about this, is that a lot of TNG is just taking, like, it's the same like Twilight Zone, where they just take the past generation and they're like, let's do that again and like tweak it.
Yeah.
Cats
and Dogs 3, Paws Unite.
Yes.
I was so confused by this trailer.
Well, it's been a long-going feud between the cats and dogs in that series, and it looks like they've teamed up. It's a real like Thanos situation to defeat a bird. I tried to look this up on IMDb. It doesn't have an IMDb page.
No, it doesn't. I was just trying to look it up on Wikipedia. It doesn't have an entry.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how they made this movie, like.
Here's another fun detail is I found news that it began filming, I think, 6 months ago. So they definitely rushed this thing.
Oh, for sure. I was like, these special effects look like if you gave me a good tutorial, I would learn how to do this.
Yeah, they're real bad.
This movie is being oozed out. It's superpowered diarrhea.
This movie is being ejected violently.
I enjoyed like the puppets for just the hands of animals when they didn't want to do the whole shot and they just wanted to show the hand doing something, and it's clearly just an arm puppet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they slaughtered so many dogs and cats and took their paws
to make these puppets. Yeah, there's no other way to do it. There's no other way to get authentic paw puppets.
I want to remind people that the original had Tobey Maguire, Alec Baldwin, Susan Sarandon, Charlton Heston, John Lovitz, Joey Pants, Michael Clark Duncan, and Jeff Goldblum as the scientist dad. Did you guys see Cats and Dogs?
No.
So it's just me then? It's just me?
Yeah.
Did you see this with your younger family members?
No, I worked at a movie theater around this time, and so I could see everything for free, including Cats and Dogs multiple times, because sometimes when you're like, bored and young, and maybe high, maybe you do things when you can just go to movie theaters for free. It's not a good movie.
I mean, I would have to be pretty stoned to watch this version of the movie. It does not look good.
It looks, not like the low budget qualities of it aside, like it is the most painful version of every dumb kids movie you can think of. Like, it's terrible.
They do the new cliche, which is making fun of the phrase "in a world" in a trailer. Does that make sense? Like, there's the cliche of a trailer starting with "in a world" but that hasn't actually been done for like 2 decades.
Yes.
So now it's just people spoofing that idea that hasn't been done in 2 decades, and that's gotten old, and this does it.
I mean, a character literally says, "That's not good," in it.
Yeah. I like how the news reports animal unrest. Where they're like, in other news, or like breaking story, our pets are upset, and I was like, this is clearly not a world with like the politics we have.
This is the kind of for sure.
Yeah,
this is the kind of movie that causes parents to want to track down and murder people who make movies.
Because what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'm like, the premise of it is just the bird is mad that people only want dogs and cats, and he wants to be a popular pet. Is that what the premise was?
That appears to be it, yeah. Like him and the other sort of misfit animals.
Okay. Oh, no. That's so...
Yeah. And the pet dogs and cats are going to fight back for dominance, pet dominance.
It's ghastly, like this trailer.
I kind of feel bad that if someone watches this, like some kid watches this earnestly and it's just like, Mom, we need to buy a parrot. And, oh no. That's all. Like, I'm thinking of it on the, like, how is, because at the end of all these movies, it's like dogs and cats. Go adopt a dog or cat. Great. But
yeah,
if you get a parrot, they live like 50 years and they're so loud and they hate everybody but one person in a household. That's kind of their thing. And it's just like, that's the worst. Some poor family's going to get this loud ass bird.
There's a reason we landed on dogs and cats. Is because they live like 15 years. You can hold them over their head and they won't like resist. They're docile. You can have them around children,
Yeah. Oh, that's so bad. I love parrots. They're like one of my favorite like animals. Don't. Oh, no.
They're tortured creatures.
These poor things. I just feel so bad.
Yeah.
And all those other creatures were pretty much just kind of other wild animals, right? Like, it was like there was like a lizard.
Yeah. A lizard, yeah.
Yeah, they're animals we haven't broken the will of fully. In this version, they're like, we want to be pets, and it's like, no, you don't.
Well, it's like there's two different, like the parrot, I think, is the version of the animal whose will we haven't broken completely, and then the lizard is just one that's like totally indifferent to captivity.
Yeah, I was going to say a lizard.
They just sit there.
Yeah. A lizard, their lives are changed very little. I lived with two lizards.
I had a lizard, I had a lizard for a long time.
It's like living with like a really old person who's just sort of like, slowly walking through the house.
Right. They're kind of, mine couldn't get out of the tank. Because it wasn't like we had too many other big animals, and he was just a tiny little gecko. So he was only about maybe 6 or 7 inches long. So it was like just like a very small step above just having fish.
Oh yeah. See, I lived with two. What are they called? They're like 4 feet long tegus. 2 tegus.
I like those. I like reptiles, but man, like I don't like what
cute.
They eat.
They like being pet. Oh yeah, I saw ghastly things go on with these tegus, but like one of them just loved my closet. It wasn't my pet. It was my roommate's pet's, and I would wake up every morning and there'd be a monster in my closet. Mm-hmm. This like dinosaur would be like, and like scuttling into my closet, and it'd be like, motherfucker. Like it was just, you just had monsters in the house, which isn't that different from having cats. Yeah. But like they were like, it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, if I had to feed my like a cat like a live bug or anything that was like had to be like freshly killed, I wouldn't have a cat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. So the bugs bother you too.
It's the bugs and the like. Honestly, mice less so because at least it's like. But even then like they recommend like if you own a snake that you kind of kill the mouse first, so that it doesn't bite back against the snake.
They sell pinkies, the little baby mice.
They sure do sell pinkies.
Pinkies don't bug me as much, but it's just like the process of like I gotta go and buy like these alive creatures to go feed.
Yeah, you have to go like, buy feeder animals. Yeah,
and I'm just like I'm okay. I appreciate them for what they are, and the people who have them and take care of them and are like good about it. I'm like, well, that's dope. Good for you, but not my jam.
My sister had a snake, and fish was really cool because it'd have a water dish, and you could put live fish in there.
Oh,
and it would gulp them up. That was kind of neat. It was a cool idea.
Yeah, and certain fish you also have to feeder fish too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have friends who had like big ass fish that they would feed little fish. Mm-hmm. Fish, I don't get it. I don't understand having fish.
I feel like fish is just like a fancy plant. kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of like.
Yeah,
you have to maintain it and make sure you like take care, and it's just more like decoration.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I actually really liked having. I used to have an aquarium in my room, and it's very relaxing.
I can see that. I had an aquarium with snails in it, and boy, I got to tell you, snails fuck. It became just a problem. It was just a problem in my house.
You had too many snails?
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do with all these fucking snails?
Put them outside, man.
I guess, but they're like water snails.
Oh.
So, like, they'll just die outside. They just stick to the glass. It's just this, like, they clean the aquarium, which is nice, but it's just this, like, after a while, it just becomes this aquarium just filled with little dots that are just, like, everywhere, like a plague. And it just becomes the snails' world, and you're working for the snails. And you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I continuing this ecosystem of fucking this snail kingdom that I am maintaining for no reason, but not to not to massacre snails.
I don't know.
So don't get snails.
I was saying it's like a mini way to play God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, now I kind of want to get a tank of tropical fish again.
Do it, man.
I mean,
Fuck
now's
it.
the time.
Yeah, now that the cat and dog war is happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Marina's allergic to everything else, so.
Yeah. Then get it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Start small with the beta fish.
Yeah. Let it snow. Lee Tits now.
Lee Tits now.
In the Celebrity Jeopardy. Yeah.
Lee Tits now. Yeah.
Yeah. What do we think about this trailer?
I wrote, as soon as I started watching, I was like, oh, this is one of those where, like, white people didn't listen to nature movies.
It's very funny. Oh, go on.
I was just like that. I was like, we're going to go, like, ride this dangerous, like, slope and everyone was just like, you shouldn't do that. It's real dangerous. But like, we're going to do it anyway. I was just like, oh, this is just a dumb white people movie.
Yeah.
I
hadn't really thought of it before. But so many horror movies are built on the premise of white people just believing nothing can happen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because I kept that even when they introduce a murderer in this, I was watching thinking, yeah, that's what you get for skiing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The whole
yeah,
time.
there's some maniac with a grenade. You don't go to a mountain. Like they don't.
Yeah.
It's not made for you.
Yeah, before even the killer aspect, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be one of those movies where they go out there and get caught in like an avalanche, and they're gonna have to like sit there, and it's just like, well, we're gonna get to know them out in the middle of nowhere, like dying. And it's just like, y'all are dumb. Everyone said don't do this.
Yeah.
And for what? For what? What is the thrill of like being like, yes, I went down that mountain. Like after a certain point.
I really think it is the white people hubris, right? Because it's like every daredevil I've ever seen is just some white person. So it's like...
I was thinking of a movie like The Descent, which is a good movie, but again, it's like, yeah, you're wiggling around in caves.
Yeah, it's like...
You're going to get cave monsters. That's just inevitable.
That serves you right.
Yeah.
What are you doing in there?
Yeah. Every time one of these movies isn't like just like a scientific team going like, we're doing this because we actually want like data, and they're just like, I want it for the thrill so I could feel like I could be close to death. I'm like, you're dumb. There's so many things you can do.
You'll be close to death soon enough. Like, just be patient.
Yeah, just wait, man.
Yeah.
Fucking ride your bicycle in downtown traffic. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the few horror movies, like, trailers that I was just kind of rooting for, like... I was rooting for whoever the killer was. I was like, all right, yeah. Tell people not to come out to your mountain. That makes sense. It was clearly your mountain.
Right. Yeah. It was made very clear.
Like, everybody was just like, don't go out there. People don't come back. And I was like, yeah, that mountain belongs to somebody.
It's like the Friday the 13th reboot where, like, everybody knows about Jason. And they're like, let's go camp out at Jason's camp. It's like, no, he made it quite clear that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Jason's just like, how many fucking people do I have to kill? Before they leave me alone. Like, I thought...
Leave me in my weed farm alone.
Yeah. I'm just getting high here at the camp. In the fucking tunnels I built.
Yeah.
And you keep trying to fuck on my house. I'm gonna kill you.
I just imagine him just, like, sitting down like reading a book, getting high, and then he like hears these kids. He's like, "Come on!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then it causes him trouble
fucking on my property again?
because he knows he might have to get murdered and resurrected. It's like when you see people like get out of a safari car and get mauled by a lion, and it's like, well, yeah. Like, you better not do anything to that lion. The lion is you just came up to it and was like, eat me, and the lion's like, sure, that's what I do.
You'd be like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing right now. Oh yeah, cool, snacks.
Yeah.
Have you not seen like any National Geographic stuff? Like, it's like they like maybe succeed in catching prey like 20 or 30% of the time. So if you're just going to stand right next to it, it's going to be like, well, shit. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
They just came right up to me.
Right. So, like, if you go skiing, you might get hit with a grenade.
Yeah.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
It's just what happens in these mountains.
It's one of them grenade mountains.
Yeah, a maniac with a grenade might cause an avalanche.
Should
And
have
you'll
read
have
a
to
book.
you'll have to triple X your way to safety.
Also, same thing with this trailer. Like, it seems like the girl, the whole movie is like looking for her boyfriend that she went on this trip with to like do this thing. Honestly, as soon as it got fucked up first time, like, hey, you're here? But all right, nah, I'm gonna assume you're dead and just try to get out. Like, I would not keep looking. It would just be, I need to get out. Like, no.
Look, man, I'll tell people you're out here. I'll tell the Rangers or whatever that you're out here, but I gotta go.
Like, just on like a base level of like safety, that also seems like the right thing to do. Like, I can't find him. Let me go out and like let the authorities know to be like, go check out this area with your helicopter, please.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And also, it's like, I mean, we've been dating like 7 months. I'm not. I can get it. I can get another one. This is
This is too much work. It's too fucking cold. It's cold.
It's cold. There's a maniac. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Is that our official thoughts on Let It Snow? Yeah. This is like Lionsgate coming out on VOD. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever see it.
No, it looks pretty boring. It looks pretty milquetoast.
I mean, if you like pretty pictures of mountains, at least visually it looks pretty.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, that's fair. Yeah. Next trailer is for Random Acts of Violence. This is about a comic book creator who a serial killer is recreating their murders. It looks very well made. It's made by what's his face?
Jay Baruchel.
Super Troopers. Mm-hmm. No, he's not in Super Troopers.
He's not in Super Troopers.
He just looks like he would be in Super Troopers.
He's in a lot of Apatow stuff.
Well, you know what I was thinking of him from, and this is weird, is Rules of Attraction. He's in that, which is the sequel to American Psycho, and he plays a kid who ODs. He's a kid who tries to kill himself. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he the voice of the kid from How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a Shudder exclusive. I'm going to watch this.
It just looks weird. Yeah, it looks really well made. I don't know about.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about the plot. I just like the look of it. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say this is one of those movies that I'd be on board. Weirdly, if it wasn't Jesse Williams as the main dude. Because seeing him as the lead and like everything that all the characters do, I was like, oh no, none of this makes sense. Like it took me out of the plot because, and it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I don't know any like professional like person of color who would just be like willing to go out in the middle of nowhere where there's probably rampant racism and just being like, I'm gonna come out here to look for ideas in like this creepy like small town thing. Like that took me, and maybe like this is just based on the trailer, maybe in the movie they like address that in some way and kind of make it make sense.
Yeah, maybe it's like
but based on the trailer alone, I was just like, why is Jesse going out there? Why is he like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like it was weird, and it made me think it was like one of those movies where the way it was written, clearly, like, I feel like it was, like, written with, like, a white dude as the lead in mind, and then when they started casting, they're like, oh, we have Jesse Williams, cool. And they put him in without, like, maybe changing the script at all to, like, reflect
the
actual person that you hired, kind of thing, which happens sometimes, but like it was just like I keep getting taken out because it's hard for me to believe that person would go do that.
Right. It could have also been because it looks like Jay Baruchel was a writer as well on the script. It could have been one of those things where it's like, well, we'll just cast whoever we cast. It's not, we're not going to worry about what race the character is because it doesn't matter. It's about story.
Right.
But like because it was written by a white person, it's missing the perspective that you just pointed out.
Right.
Yeah. And mind you, maybe it is addressed it was just like based on the trailer. It could be like very well talked about in the movie itself, and maybe there's a joke about it too, where it's just like, oh, where are you white kids taking me out into the middle of nowhere? And even then I'd be like, okay, suspension lifted, fine, like it's addressed, because it's just like it's really weird. Like I mean, yeah, also like it's also interesting that they picked like a black dude to write like a serial killer type comic book thing, because that's also not like culturally like a genre that like we hit on kind of thing.
Yeah, that's usually white men.
Yeah, so that's also why I was just like, oh, that's strange. I hope they address why that character is into that stuff, just because you don't see it, and it's kind of strange. It is kind of strange. It's like if you saw like a slasher movie and it was like a woman doing all the slashing, if they just went in dry like that without like explaining it, it would kind of be jarring. You'd be like, that's usually not like the person doing the slashing.
There are several movies where the killer is a woman.
Yeah, but do they like? But it's like a surprise, right? I would assume, or is it like going in?
Usually it's a surprise, but there's a couple where the whole cast is women. But yeah, it's usually like a misdirect.
It's usually the writer being like, oh, no one will see it coming, and it's like it becomes like almost such a trope that it's obvious. We were watching Urban Legend, remember? Yeah. And it was like that era where it was just like, oh, she's the killer. Why? Because she's the least assuming.
Right, because she's the least obvious.
Yeah, and of course that makes her the most obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, I want, like, it takes a little bit of suspension of belief, just because I was like, but like most people who write these like crazy serial killer type stories tend to be like white people, because that's usually like the people who are doing those things. And like but at the same time, like I'm kind of glad that like they're trying to switch it up. Like I'm not like knocking it for it. I'm just hoping that like within the movie itself, it's like addressed a little bit. And if it's not the worst thing in the world, it's just one of those things where I'm watching it, I'm like, something's off.
It's so hard to tell from a trailer too. Yeah. Is that it's definitely like, it gives off the vibes you're talking about, but who knows what it's actually about. Like, it could be about nothing like what's in this trailer. It's so, like, this could be the first 15 minutes of the movie, for all we know, and it could go off on this weird tangent. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, you guys tell me, because I was just like, oh, also, this is not my genre.
You're probably not going to watch it. Yeah.
I don't imagine you're going to watch this, but we'll let you know what it's like.
I'm actually really curious. I want you guys to let me know, like, how it goes, because I'm like, that's different, but weird.
Well, let's talk about the Muppets.
Yeah.
Muppets Now.
Yeah, they're getting the show
Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus. It's going to be unscripted and such, and have guest hosts. This trailer is delightful.
It is.
It's a Zoom conference between all the Muppets talking about their show that just got greenlit.
Yeah, and it's very charming and funny.
Yeah.
Does that imply that like Muppets are like COVID carriers?
Yeah. I mean,
otherwise they'd be the ones taking all those cheap flights.
Right. I mean, did you read The Velveteen Rabbit?
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Like dummies can be like plague rags.
If anything, they're even worse because they can soak up. Like, you never want to get a Muppet wet; it becomes heavy and gross, and then like you have to put it in the dryer, and that's probably very traumatic for the Muppet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're disgusting. You know.
Yeah.
But you'd think they would all themselves be able to like hang out. They just can't interact with humans.
Well, this also implies. Well, I guess this is the question: is that are they doing it for the consideration of others, or because they can get sick? And if they can get sick, that would imply that they have organs. I mean, they do have a hand in them, and like. But you'd think like I'd like they're essentially gloves that are alive, right?
Right, they're living gloves that have respiratory systems because they can speak.
Well, I mean, but in their world, like when we zoom out, like we see them walking around. Like Muppets are like just Muppets. They're their own.
They're their own
You're
thing.
right.
Yeah.
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 They're their own species or people or. Are they a race?
So
what are they?
Well, I don't know because, like,
Must
if you
be like
think
a
about
species,
like
right? Or...
in Christmas Carol, Kermit is like poor and needs like his son needs medical work, and they're hungry, so they must have a digestive system and a respiratory system, and can get sick like anybody else, and apparently can get sick from. Like, I guess there's the thing where like cats or dogs can get COVID, so I guess it's not unprecedented that they're like they might be a different species, but they could still get our diseases.
I think we cracked it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the very least, they're following social distancing guidelines.
Now it's just sad though, because they're just. I'm imagining poor like Gonzo getting COVID and being up till later.
Like imagine a flesh and bone, like muscle, flesh and bone. And then just like, I don't know, an inch of felt just over that muscle. And I think you have a Muppet, right? And so maybe they have a little more protection. They're probably warmer.
I feel like their bones are probably made out of whatever the pool noodles are made out of.
Yeah.
I was thinking wires. Like they're just like very, very bendy.
Bendy, like maybe tough muscle, no bones really, like sinew and like tendons. Like there's not much. I don't know. They're probably not very good to eat. If they were, there would be no Muppets anymore, right? We would have hunted them to extinction.
Or maybe they just don't taste good to us. Because I mean, we have Swedish Chef, and he definitely cooks.
And what is Swedish Chef?
Well,
he's a Muppet.
Cooks. Yeah, he's just a Muppet. Like,
but he's a human Muppet.
He's a humanoid Muppet. Yeah, he's a human-shaped Muppet, but he's still a Muppet.
They have a bunch of those though, so that's like not too weird.
I think is it like how like there's like spiders that can look like branches and stuff, where like they don't like the animal that they represent has nothing to do with like their actual DNA.
Sure, if that helps you.
I think so, because that helps with like there's chicken Muppets, but there's also still actual chickens. You know, so there's like this level of like, and I think we've seen the Swedish Chef like cook both. I think I've seen him cook a chicken and a Muppet chicken because they're scared of him.
That's fucked up.
So yeah,
Is he like a cannibal? Like, all right, so there is a distinction between their assumed like they have to be like aliens, right? Because they're like, it's not just that they're a different species from us. They seem to have different like species within themselves.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's troubling about them is that they appear to have come from a different planet.
Isn't that the plot of one of the movies?
Are they aliens?
Isn't Gonzo like an alien? Didn't they confirm that in like one of the movies?
I have no idea.
I imagine they're all aliens at that point.
I feel like there's a movie, mind you, I haven't seen them all, but I want to say that's like the plot of one, because everyone's just like, what are you, Gonzo? And he doesn't know what he is, because it's like, he's not a bird, he's not anything. And I think there's like a movie where like he tries to find like his family, and I think they're aliens. I could be very, very wrong on that.
Aren't there Muppet aliens? Like I thought there was like specific alien Muppets, but maybe I'm wrong.
It just might be Gonzo. And now that I'll look that up afterward because that's gonna bug me. I'm like,
okay, yeah, we'll circle back to that. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Muppets Now.
But yeah, I'm gonna watch that for sure. I love the Muppets. I think they're delightful and really cute.
They're a lot of fun. Well, we're on to our final trailer. It's a documentary. It's called Feels Good, Man. It is a story I knew about.
Yeah.
It's about Pepe the Frog.
I knew about this too, but I didn't know there was going to be a documentary on it. And
oh yeah, I didn't know about the documentary. Yeah, this must speak to you, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm like, I'm so down to watch this because I feel so bad for this artist. Like, this is, I think, like worst case scenario of like could you imagine anything you make, just a doodle, this like character that you like love, and you was just trying to tell like goofing stories, and then like it, like the whole premise is that the artist who made Pepe for his own like little like comics and stories, and of course like 4chan and like everything kind of like it became a meme. And
it was like, hijacked by white supremacists.
Yeah,
basically.
And it becomes like a Nazi symbol. Like that would be the worst
that
thing
would be
to ever
devastating. Yeah,
it became a tool of the Nazi like gaslighting, where like it's like the OK symbol, where they take something that they can have plausible deniability about, where they're like, no, it's just a cartoon, but it's like after a while, it's a way for them to like gaslight moderates into being like, well, no, it's just innocent fun, and you have to like push to be like, no, this is a white supremacist thing, until like a spree shooter uses it, and then people are like, oh
yeah, and then
like,
it's just like, what do you like? So I do want to see like the ending of this, because I from what I remember, the last I had heard of like the creator of Pepe was just like either killed Pepe in the comic or just was like, I'm never drawing this character again, and just was like, I have to let this go. And that's just so sad and awful, and I would feel so guilty, like I made something that people are using as like a symbol of hate, even if that was never your intention. It was just like, oh my god, that sucks.
And like, obviously if it wasn't your thing, it'd be somebody else's, but it's still awful.
Yeah.
That I love the added funniness of it. The humor is that Pepe is clearly like was made as a stupid joke.
Yeah.
Like he probably, if it didn't get hijacked by Nazis, he might have already like forgotten about it, And that's what makes it funny to me, is that he's like, no, this is my thing. I mean, it's still stupid. Like, it's just a stupid little stoner frog. But like he has to fight for it now, which is very funny, because I assume he didn't make it thinking that hard about the character.
Well, no, they show a shot at the end of the trailer where they ask him why is it named Pepe, and it's like, because it looks like pee-pee.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, because it's funny.
It's just dumb. Like, that's it.
Oh, it's like, it's truly is like worst case scenario, and I'm looking forward to watching it, and I'm hoping that maybe he can rehabilitate it, but not really. I don't see how he can rehabilitate
that shit is ruined. Yeah, it's like people trying to rehabilitate the swastika. It's like,
nope.
There's people trying to rehabilitate the swastika,
right? Because it's
I know it wasn't originally a symbol of hate,
right? They reversed
a Hindu symbol,
right? The Nazis reversed it, but like people will try to use the original one that's in the opposite direction and be like, no, it's like, not. It means a different thing, and it's like, nah, man, we got to retire that one. We can't.
Yeah,
it sucks. I'm sorry, but like. Whoa!
Technically,
that
technically means a different thing, but no one sees that. Yeah,
the Hitler mustache is gone. Like
the chaplain.
You can't do that. The Confederate flag, which should have always been gone. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but like there's certain symbols that are just like, no, you can't course correct. I'm sorry, and unfortunately, Pepe is up in there, and it's such a bummer because it's just a frog. It's just a frog.
It's just a frog.
Ugh. But yeah, want to watch that for sure.
Yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah. All right, let's get into news stories.
Yeah, we got to name some producers. Voiced.
Yeah. I'm petting my cat right now. I want people to know she's really into it.
Oh, I miss kitten.
I'm sitting here talking, and I got one hand like to the side, scratching her ears. She's demanding it. So thank you to Wavy Rancheros. Great name. Speaking of cats, thank you to Dr. Kitty MD. Who's a kitty? It's you. scratching her ear. Thank you to Mr. DNA. Thank you to Lauren Gucci. Thank you to Bootler Boodleson. Thank you to Grumblebee.
Woo!
These are all good. Thank you to Tux. Good old Tux. Thank you to Welsowski. Thank you to Shepherd Mulch Diggums.
Ooh, man.
Firing stuff out of your butt.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thanks to Davey Francis. Thank you to Space McNulty.
Thank you.
Thank you to Captain Fatstrong. We appreciate your service. Thank you to Hiram. And thanks to Oh Great, it's that guy. Star, you want to grab the last couple here?
Yeah. Thank you to Leaf or Left?
Left.
Sorry, I always mispronounce all the names because.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah. Words are hard.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you, Bobby Gren.
Thank you to Nolan Matten.
Woo!
Thank you, Nolan.
Also, a special thanks to Joshua Graves.
Wow, he got a special thanks.
Yeah, switching it up. And extra special thanks to Normal Man Andrew McGuire.
Thank you, guys.
Man.
So I want to talk about how it's not happening, but I think this is a very telling story, which is that they briefly considered releasing the Christopher Nolan movie Tenet internationally and skipping America. I was just on Even More News, and I was talking about this. It's The Simpsons, where they get a pool and Bart has a broken leg. That's going to be America soon. Other countries are going to be watching all the movies and having all the fun, and since we can't get our shit together, we're gonna like Hollywood movies are gonna just forget about America.
I mean, they already do this. Like, they've started opening. A lot of movies will open internationally first,
right?
Because the international market is way more important for these movies than the American market.
Right. We were barely hanging on as it was, and now it's like we're not going to even matter anymore.
It's also to like stop piracy right away, right? Because like a lot of the piracy goes overseas just because of like if you don't release it at the same time,
right?
Like people are gonna just illegally download, and like I think VPNs are more prominent overseas.
Right. This was stopped specifically, I think, because Christopher Nolan was like, "No, I want it to be, for everybody." But like
Christopher Nolan is one of the fussiest men.
Yeah.
He's gonna have.
He's like, I want it out, and I want it for everybody.
He's gonna have his simultaneous worldwide release in IMAX theaters, come hell or high water. He doesn't care if this shit comes out in 2023.
I was going to say, this is going to be a New Mutants situation.
Yeah.
By the way, there was a trailer for New Mutants that came out. I did not include it because I am not willing to get hurt by them anymore. I'm not going to let them hurt me.
Yeah.
We're not going to discuss the New Mutants. Maybe it'll come out, probably not. But yeah, this not every movie is going to have Christopher Nolan saying these things, so there's going to be other filmmakers.
Right, not every movie has a filmmaker with enough clout that can be like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame him. Part of me is just like, yeah, like we should be sitting on the side of the pool, upset because,
Why should the rest of the world wait for us because we can't get our shit together?
Well, it's not even that. It's that theaters and theaters especially are struggling to not go bankrupt and shut down forever. So it's like they have if their theaters can open internationally, which they have started to, and the movie studios are also like facing massive losses for the year. So it's like, well, if we can make some money, like if we can generate money to keep the fucking lights on by just releasing movies overseas,
they should do it.
They should do it. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think
maybe it'll motivate us.
That actually might, exactly. Like, it might motivate some people who are like, I'm not going to wear my mask. If they're like, what do you mean they're getting the next Marvel movie overseas? Right. Like, wear your mask. Maybe you'll get a Marvel movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking America. But meanwhile, Netflix is developing a Bird Box sequel, so we might not get Tenet, but we'll get Bird Box 2, you guys.
Tenet. Dave.
What did I say?
You said tenant.
Whatever. He should have named it better.
Those two words sounded pretty much the same to me.
Tenant or tenant.
Yeah,
it's a difference between one N and two.
Yeah.
He should have named it better. It's on him.
Well, it's a palindrome because you see it's not time travel, Dave. It's inversion.
Sure. Whatever. Christopher Nolan. It's inversion.
He could have added an extra N. That would have been fine.
Well, then it would have meant something else. Then it would have been like a movie about like a landlord getting a really frustrating renter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this Bird Box thing is I think the author is writing a sequel to the book, which is like pretty much guaranteed to be developed.
Well, it's... Oh, okay.
All right, well, I don't blame the author for doing that.
They recently said this in Extraction made a lot of money. I just think I think we've talked about this. I know you liked Extraction, Tom, but I think Netflix movies that do the best tend to be like relatively down the middle. Like not like kind of mediocre. Like Roma doesn't do well, but like Bird Box does well. And I get why. It's because everybody will watch Bird Box. But I thought this movie was a real piece of crap.
Yeah, Bird Box sucks.
I didn't see it. I was just like, this is, again, I was like, I don't watch movies that aren't clearly meant, like, in my wheelhouse. I was like, I don't want to watch a lady with blindfolds on and just wandering around and making kids feel bad. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, this movie, you should not watch this movie, Star.
It's not worth it. It's not worth the time.
Yeah, and it's just, it deals, I mean, it's, just don't watch it.
It just seems like a bummer. I was like, nah, I'm okay.
It's a huge bummer. I remember how upset you got after you watched Alien. You should not watch Bird Box.
Yeah. Well, it's a Alien's
a much better film, but
horror.
It's like the same. It's the same tone of like constant tension, and pretty much everyone dies.
It's bad guy. If you see them, they kill you. Got to wear a blindfold, and then she's got to get to a place, and then spoilers, she gets to the place, and the movie ends. And it was like, I don't know why that.
That's interesting.
Like
I saw, we didn't cover this. At least I don't think we did at Collider, because everybody's covering it as Netflix is developing a Bird Box sequel, and that at no point does it say that in there. It's just it's just the author talking about the sequel to the novel he's writing.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
So, like, people have connected the dots because I don't think they're wrong.
They're probably not wrong. Like, I mean, if Bird Box did so well for them.
Yeah, they were like, this did really well, and the author's like, I'm making a sequel. It's like, yeah, so Netflix is making a sequel. I'm hoping, like, Sandra Bullock would just be like, nah. And then, well, they just recast her,
she very, very conspicuously doesn't really do sequels because of... from what I've heard, she's really averse to it after Speed 2 and Miss Congeniality 2.
I was about to say, what about Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Like, I liked Speed 2.
I love Speed 2.
Speed 2 was not great, but it was fun.
It's one of the best, I think, sequel titles. Speed 2 Cruise Control? Are you fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. Look at that wordplay.
Yeah, it works on...
That's Oscar Wilde shit.
It works on 2 different levels.
2 different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe putting leeches on his body.
Sure.
One of the few movies where St. Martin is in it, I was always like, that's always going to have a special place in my heart.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm never going to... I was just like, oh my God, they go to St. Martin? This is the finale? I mean, they
go directly into St. Martin.
They destroy it, but I was still really excited that, like, My Little Tiny Island is part of, a disaster movie kind of thing, because that doesn't happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I got the same feeling from that movie, Virus, which is supposed to take place in Norfolk, Virginia, even though they did not film it there.
Virus.
Yeah, with Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Sutherland.
When was that made?
98.
No shit.
Yeah, it sucks. Don't watch it. But anyway, so this dude, the author is writing a sequel to Bird Box. Netflix may pick it up, but I don't know if they'll get Sandra Bullock back.
Yeah, I mean, they have Netflix money.
I mean, would you need her? I mean, you could easily
Well, his book focuses entirely on her. Like it's called Marjorie, which is her character's name.
Oh.
So, I mean, you could recast her, but
get John Krasinski in there. It's fine.
They don't name the kids, right? Wasn't that like a thing?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're right, you officially know more about this movie than me.
I thought like that was a plot, but that's why I wasn't gonna see it, because they were like, oh yeah, she names like the boy and the girl because she didn't want to get attached.
I think you're right.
And so I was just like, oh well, whoever girl is could just get the name Marjorie. Like maybe like Sandra Bullock dies and she's like, I'm Marjorie now, and then boom.
Fuck it.
Now I am become Marjorie. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Final news story. A24 released a Dungeons and Dragons game for the Green Knight.
Yeah,
that's
like
coming up.
A pen and paper RPG.
Yeah, I bought it. I bought it. It's on its way. I think it ships in August. It's not cheap. It's like $40.
Oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not terrible. It's just like, what if the Green Knight's amazing? Like that's kind of what they're doing. They're like, what if this is great? A24, I really like their style when it comes to their merchandise.
It's so gorgeously retro too.
Yeah. They seem to have a sense of humor in their merchandise. I don't know. And then they did that auction where they sold like shit from their movies. I wish A24's like merchandise makes me wish I had more money.
I mean, maybe they
so
really
much.
like took the time to make sure the Green Knight is a good game too, which would be great.
Yeah. It makes me really curious about this movie now. The fact that you can make a Dungeons and Dragons version. Fuck yeah. This is going to be a real nightmare. I think the Green Knight's going to be like, it's going to be like a Lighthouse situation.
I don't know,
man.
I'm so excited for this movie.
Well, the Lighthouse is great.
Yeah,
like I think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be out of its mind. I think it's going to be one of those. I think A24. I think if you were to pitch to A24, one of the things that gets your movie made is if you pitch a real like, what the fuck did I just watch situation, and they're like, oh yeah, that's our jam. Something fucked up and weird. Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. So that's what I'm hoping. Star, did you see The Lighthouse?
No.
Okay.
That's what you call it, Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I've heard only good things about it. Again, not my genre, but I've always heard like nice things. Like oh man, it's really intense and
I don't
weird
know that you dislike it.
Yeah, it's not a horror movie.
Not really.
No, it's just like person has to live in isolation and like what is that like kind of movie, right?
Yeah, kind of.
It's
a person
bananas.
has to live in isolation with Willem Dafoe, and
I mean, same difference.
And things get weird.
Yeah,
very weird. Yeah, I don't know. I want you to see it.
That also sounds
Marina
like
watched it, and then immediately, once it was over, she immediately started it again.
It also sounds like a really like you know how like there's people who are like into monsters, like monsters make them horny. That also feels like that's what that is. Except William Dafoe is supposed to be like the weird thing. Like that's when you said that, I was just like, oh, Robert Pattinson, William Dafoe. I'm like, and weird movie. I was just like, so there's sexual tension, must be right? Probably.
It's
There is, but
this is a tough movie to talk about.
It's a difficult movie to talk
like,
about.
I don't know. It seems like some weird
it
shit.
can be interpreted in many ways. There's an interpretation about like millennials versus boomers. It can mean a lot of things. Sex is definitely in there. It's toxic masculinity has come up. It's basically about one person coveting something from somebody else, sort of. But it's, a lot more complicated than that. There's like mermaid genitals are involved.
Oh.
It's a weird one, Star. It's you kind of have to see it. You should watch it. I don't know if you watching it is just a gift for me or a gift for you.
I'll add it to I'll put on my list on Netflix. I'll do that.
Yeah. The worst case scenario, I don't think, would be that it like scares you. It'd be more that you'd be like, "What the fuck?" and like shut it off.
I'm more,
like,
I'm more
this
inclined to
weird.
watch something that's a what the fuck than obviously like, oh, this is intended to creep me out.
Yeah. Anyway, they should make a role-playing game for that.
Mm-hmm. For the Lighthouse? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Where you just have to fight seagulls.
You just have to fucking assassinate seagulls.
Yeah. That's it for news stories.
Yeah.
Woo.
We got some more people to thank.
We
People
do,
like
yeah.
Ozzy. Thank you very much, Ozzy. Thank you to Tom Quasi Dangerous Levels of Hype K. Thank you to AJ. Thank you to Sweet Meat. Always a pleasure. Thank you to Tip Drizzle. Wonderful. Thank you to Frankly Amish. You're great.
Thank you to Mrs. Voidus. Thanks to the ghost of Dave Thomas haunting us with Frosties. Thanks to Aaron. I almost said the ghost of. Thanks to Aaron Mercer. Thanks to David.
We don't know.
Yeah, he could be a spirit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks to David Knife Boot Hinson, MBA, CPA. And thanks to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire. And now Star. Now you go.
Okay. Thank you to Mackenzie, the righteous hand of the lizard people chill. I love that name. Thanks to Funky J.
Funky J.
And thanks to Pie Guy.
Pie Guy. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Oh, man. Dave.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah.
This is the part where I have to ask you if you have a movie that deserves more hype.
Kidding.
Even though I know the answer, but
yeah, no, I get you. I understand. I do. You know, I have two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I there's one that I was like really waiting for, and Doc Garby tweeted to me this morning with the trailer, and I was like, fucking finally. I didn't think so. I had like a backup one, but I also want to talk about the backup one as well. So that equals two. This first one is called Valley of the Gods. It's coming out August 11th on VOD, and it's got John Malkovich in there. Who else did it have? It has
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett, who, you know, is always in good things. And it's about the world's richest man, and he starts mining sacred Native American land for uranium, apparently. And I think he releases ancient gods. It's a surreal, very surreal film. If you guys have watched the trailer, he rides in a serpent limo and catapults cars, which feels very John Malkovich. What do you guys think of this trailer?
I read your summary before I watched it, and then when I watched it, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It looks like there's 3 different storylines that are happening.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett is writing his biography, The Rich Man, and then I don't know what the second one is. I know that they cast a lot of actual Native Americans. Valley of the Gods is a specific landmark, I think I'm not actually sure where. So it's I guess the director was very concerned with telling kind of the story from the perspective of Native Americans and kind of seeking their say in it. But he's also making a batshit surreal movie, so I'm not sure if it matters.
It does look very beautiful. It's visually striking. I was like,
yeah. The moment he catapults a car, I was like, well, I guess I'm seeing this. It doesn't really matter what happens.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks indecipherable to a degree.
Yeah, it looks batshit. Yeah, it looks absolutely like madness, but it looks kind of cool. It has some neat ideas. We'll see if it adds up to anything. I assume it means something. It's hard to talk about. See the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer.
Everybody watch the trailer.
I can't form, any sort of prediction about what the movie might mean because I'm not. It's the trailer. It's just this looks awesome. I have no idea what's happening.
For example, before I saw this trailer, I saw the word snake limousine, And I was like, well, I don't know what that means. And then you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, snake limousine. Okay. It's a limousine that's a snake. Sure. So yeah, just, I don't know, watch it. This second one, boy, this snuck up on me. This feels like a real event. And Star, I apologize.
Yeah, I was just like, why is it whenever I'm on Hypecast, I feel like I don't know if it's just the timing where like the scary movies decide to release all the trailers.
I do this thing where...
Or like, it's just like, this is Dave just wanting to be amused by my fear, which I totally understand, because it's just a trailer.
I originally had Feels Good Man was gonna as a candidate for this week specifically because of you. And I try to cater the more hype movies to the guest, but this is sort of...
Well, you're hyped. This is a true you're hyped about this movie.
Yeah, this is an emergency. This had to come here. This is called Possessor. I don't know when it's out yet. The trailer dropped today. It has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes with a lot of reviews. And it is directed by Brandon Cronenberg. Who is, yes, the son of David Cronenberg.
And you can absolutely tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I to be honest, I kept opening my eyes and then reclosing them. I was like, oh, this is definitely not a Star movie. But I was like, but this is 100% a Dave movie.
Yeah, it is basically the best way to describe it is if David Cronenberg directed Inception. Because it's about a woman who is an assassin, and she does that by inhabiting people's bodies and then committing murder in their bodies and then killing herself in their body. So it looks like a murder-suicide, but she's actually puppeting them. Mm-hmm. And then she apparently gets inside of someone's body that fights back, and it becomes like like an Inception, like a battle inside his body. Mm-hmm. I want to do a quote from this /film review, because the idea of David Cronenberg's son doing a movie that's gory, it could go either way, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, maybe he doesn't have the talent of his father.
Right.
But
I don't think talent's necessarily genetic, so...
Right. But he clearly learned a thing or two from his dad.
I was like, could you imagine growing up in that house?
Yeah, can you imagine seeing your father's work for the first time?
Just imagine seeing David Cronenberg walking into the room and you're like, hi, Dad.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm imagining it's like a horror movie where like he sneaks a copy of his dad's film. He grabs, I don't know, Videodrone and puts it in and like quietly watches it as a teenager and discovers this is what his dad has been up to.
Right.
And then he hears a gentle knock on the door like, son, I just want to say goodnight. And it's like a horror movie at that point where it's like, oh, God, he's right outside the door.
Right.
See, I'm imagining him just
the
not hiding it
killer.
at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like this kid just grows up around all of it. And it's not even like, it doesn't even faze him because he's just around it all the time. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, no, this is just what things are. And this is art. And this is what everything should be. Right. And just not knowing how jarring everything is.
The kids like Brandon Cronenberg is like, no, everybody just casually uses the word flesh in conversation, right?
Yeah. I'm his son flesh. That's what he calls me.
Oh yeah. I just thought seed flesh. I was like,
seed flesh.
This quote from indie /film says, "This isn't horror movie gore. It's something else. Full of close-ups of horrific stab wounds, teeth being ground out of bleeding mouths, and bodies completely obliterated beyond human recognition."
God.
Is Possessor celebrating this brutality or glorifying it? No. It's merely underscoring it and showing us how inhumane human beings can be. So it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, if it has a 93%, it's probably on the side of he figured out his dad's art.
Yeah, and with a lot of reviews. So like it's got almost 30 people reviewing it. It like premiered and then got bought up by Neon or whatever, and there hasn't been I haven't seen anything about a release date yet. This thing's gonna sneak up on you like
It'll be a VOD. Yeah, it's going to be a stealth VOD drop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like David Cronenberg tiptoeing behind you to tickle you, like he did with Brandon as a child. Imagine being tickled by David Cronenberg.
Yep, I'm imagining it.
Really
I'm just
picture it.
imagining, like, you know, like every kid goes through the phase where you're just drawing body parts, but at the same time you're kind of like, I don't know, just what Brandon's like doodles were. Just like, oh no.
Yeah, this is gonna be
It's probably a movie unto itself right there.
yeah.
Just his teenage doodles.
Oh man, I can't wait. It's I'm obsessed with the relationship of weird directors and their kids. Like, isn't Alfonso Cuarón, like, doesn't his daughter have like a TikTok or something?
Oh, yeah.
She sure does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you shared that, Star.
Yeah,
where
because
he's
I was
like
delighted.
eating, where it's like they're just like lame dads in the background of.
Yeah, she's
It's
doing a
fucking great.
TikTok dance while like Alphonse was like eating a mysterious bowl of something, which we all spent way too long trying to figure out what.
You
the hell
figured
he
it
was
out
eating.
though.
Yeah, it was mango ice cream.
Yeah.
But it's still for a long time we were like, what is it? What?
Yeah. So, like, Brandon Cronenberg, I'm glad he's doing this, but I would have accepted a TikTok of David Cronenberg in the background in, like, bathrobes talking about the flesh.
Just frying some eggs or something.
Yeah.
Something really mundane.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, people check out the trailer. If you're a person who would want to see this, you already know.
Right. If you're a fan of David Cronenberg, then yeah, this movie is extremely your shit.
Yeah. And yeah. When I first saw this with the name Brendan Cronenberg, I was like, wait a fucking... Because it would be so weird if it was, like, no relation.
Right, there's no way more than one fucking person has that name.
That would be... But how incredible, though. Like, you just inherit that name, and you're like, well, this is just my lot in life. I must do this.
Yeah. I have to be a Cronenberg.
Yeah. I gotta Cronenberg my way through this life.
Yeah. Oh, exciting.
I'm now curious if he has other kids.
Maybe. They're all a bunch of maniacs, probably.
He does. He has 2 other daughters.
Oh, wow.
I want to know their,
Lady
like...
Cronenbergs.
I want to know their, like, Lisa Frank phase.
Yeah.
Like, a Cronenberg-Lisa Frank combo would be... Oh, my God.
Just real brutalist Lisa Frank.
Now I kind of need that.
Just body horror Lisa Frank.
I wonder... I'm going to write that down. I might... No, I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't know why I'm... I was like, can I draw that?
Write it down.
Oh, no. I'm writing it down. I don't think... Because I'd have to do the research, and that's the part that would fuck me up.
The Cronenberg research or the Lisa Frank?
The Cronenberg research.
Both are disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be I assume you've never seen his version of The Fly.
No, I think I've probably seen art though, just like out and about on the internet.
Mm-hmm. It's weird that he's Canadian. Doesn't that kind of shock you?
Not really. Nothing
Not
about...
really, no.
You could tell me he was from Jupiter, and I'd be like, yeah.
That's fair.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Man, yeah. Really stoked for this one.
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Again, I've only known about this for maybe a week, and it was like one of those, like, what the fuck? Like, how is this not an event? How is this not the Avengers Endgame of the world, where everybody's like counting down? They're like in the, like, CNN has a ticker on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. That's like in hours until we get to see.
Until you can watch Possessor.
Yeah. My God.
Oh my God, you guys should look up what Brandon looks like.
I assume he looks like David Cronenberg.
I assume he looks
He
like David Cronenberg.
He does, but like just imagine just like a 20 or so, like just way younger, obviously.
Oh
but
my God. Yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
looks...
Yep.
Yeah, he's not a bad looking guy. He just looks like...
He looks
also,
like a
I think,
Cronenberg.
yeah, it's also how they're photographing him in some of these where he's just like in the shadows.
He's leaning into the Cronenberg-ness.
Yes. Oh man, that's exciting. Good on him. Way to be a Cronenberg.
Yeah, way to really Cronenberg it up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for him. Truly.
Good for him. Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm excited.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just excited to see more of this. Oh, I guess he's already directed some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah.
Something called Antiviral. Don't know what the fuck. Oh my god! And guys, you know who's in Possessor?
Yeah, Mandy.
And Sean Bean.
Sean Bean's in Possessor?
What?
Yeah, and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Oh, that's
is
an
also
awesome
there.
cast.
Yeah. Holy shit. Sean Bean. I hope he's the guy. I hope she's like screwing around in his head.
No, it's a different guy. It's Christopher Abbott is the guy.
But he might be like one of the victims.
I'm sure he is, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see Sean Bean turn into like a goo monster and explode. That's great. This is great news. Great news all around. Yeah, that's it.
I think that's a sode. I think we've talked about this enough.
Yeah. Star, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
For being a part of this.
I love hearing from you guys. It's been a bit.
Same to you. I've seen your text, like you in text form, but I haven't heard your voice in a while. It's nice. We've been Minecrafting again if you're ever around.
Really? Well, now that computers is back up and running, I might participate some more. I'm definitely gonna get back into Twitch streaming soon.
Excellent. Yeah.
Awesome.
Where else can we find you? Plug it. Plug it.
You can find my webcomic, which is also back on track, Ruby Whipple at rubywhipple.com, spelled RUBIWHIPPLE. You could also find me on Twitter at StarlineX and on Instagram at Starline. Everything pronounced Starline, but spelling.
Yeah, and you can check out her artwork. She does some artwork for us.
Yeah.
Fox Mulder is a Maniac, and there's on our TeePublic, there's a poster that she designed right there.
Mm-hmm. And also, where's Spain?
Oh yeah, and where's Spain?
Where's
Holy
Spain?
shit!
Yeah.
That took so long to make. I always feel so bad. I'm so glad
but
you
it
guys
was worth
like
it.
But it
It's
was
worth
like
it.
one of those things on my list that was like, I need to finish this art. It's just sitting there, and like every month that went by, I was like, oh no.
Oh man, Dave, tell them about what we got going on.
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like the aforementioned Fox Mulder is a Maniac, as well as Tom and Jeff Watch a Batman.
Woo!
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, we also have
All of it.
a TeePublic store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, whatever you want, several
Masks.
items of which
Get
were
masks.
designed by Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we still doing masks?
I think we're still doing masks, yeah.
I think it's just part of their site. Like,
I think it's part of their site now, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We did it.
We did it. We did the thing. All right, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
bye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.